Understand, in that context why people feel the way they do, but I can't let that be a distraction point. We've got to continue to move forward on a very aggressive agenda to get us ready to take the White House in 2012.
The National Convention is a year and a half away. Critics are also alarmed. They say that they think you've blown through and wasted more than $600,000 on the convention.
Well, that's unfortunate because we haven't blown through anything. $600,000 has been spent. 370-some thousand of that was money that was spent on the site selection process, which was the first stage of this, where the site selection committee of the RNC traveled to the 3 states that were in contention for the convention. So it paid for their travel and it paid for the events that were involved on the ground during that site selection process. About $218,000 of that was for the legal cost of negotiating the site selection agreement and the hotel contracts with all of the hotel venues on the ground, which are all done now. And the rest was spent on staff, which will be reimbursed to the RNC when the federal government cuts its check to the host committee, to the committee on arrangements in some time early next year. We just advanced through a line of credit so that they can make those early expenditures. The other thing to keep in mind is that on the recommendation of the previous convention team, we started this process earlier so that we could take advantage of certain opportunities on the ground, being that we were in the middle of a recession at the time. We didn't know what the response would be from the cities. We wanted to start early to sort of lay the groundwork for 2 fronts. One, to create what I hope to be one of the most grassroots experiences that anyone has ever had at a convention, making this the people's convention. So we really wanted to focus on the infrastructure for that, creating a convention village, for example. And secondly, to help the host committee raise the dollars that it needs sooner in the process so that they could get a running start. And so a lot of things have been blown out of proportion about that. And it's unfortunate. And again, none of this by the critics of the RNC have done anything to really help the RNC. You don't see that same kind of chatter on the Democratic side, given the fact that they've lost races, we've won races. They haven't even gotten their convention process completed or done yet, and we're well advanced in our process. So I don't understand, in that context why people feel the way they do, but I can't let that be a distraction point. We've got to continue to move forward on a very aggressive agenda to get us ready to take the White House in 2012, to make sure that the values and principles we believe in are inculcated in everything we do. Working with the new members of Congress, working with the new leadership in Congress, and having the RNC. My role as national chairman will change come January because we'll have a speaker and we'll have a majority leader. And they're going to be the point persons, the leaders that are going to be setting the pace and the agenda. Our responsibility is to be there to help them and to raise the dollars we're going to need to continue to build out the infrastructure for our grassroots. But to lay down that foundation for what will be the most important race for the presidency in our lifetime.